Hello and welcome back. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the Holy Science, chapter number 1 and its verse number 4. You know that the title of this chapter is Vedas. So the crux of the Vedas have been discussed by Sri Yukteswar Giriji in this chapter. And we are going to discuss today about the verse number 4. But I would recommend you that before you listen to this chapter, before you watch this particular video, you should go, for the previous video, because in that video we are discussing about the basic concepts of the Om and various forms of the Om. So that you must need to know the vibration of the God particle, the Big Bang, right? The vibration of that element, which is known as the God particle, that particle basically, which is known as the God particle. So that you must need to know and you must need to understand before you reach to this particular video. So in the previous video, we have discussed about the particles. What are the particles? In the previous video, we saw that Om can be represented into 4 forms. And since we are able to see the things into different forms, so that means that it was only one thing earlier. It was only a God particle. It was only one thing. It was only one particle. But later on, it started representing itself in the various forms, right? Like it created distance. It created the light, it created everything. So we are able to feel the time, we are able to feel the distance, everything we are able to feel, whatever we have through our experience. So that is done because there are different molecules, there are different particles. Because of those particles only, we are able to see the difference, we are able to see the time, everything we are able to see. Because if you are only one particle, if the existence is only one particle, then there is no time, there is no space, nothing. But if there are two points in a space, even only 2 points are there in the space, then the distance gets created, right? And if the distance gets created, then someone is looking from this point to this point, then he says that, yes, I will take some time from one point to second point. So the time starts. So that concept of time comes, which is known as the Kal. In Hindi, we know it Kal, right? So everything comes into existence after the God particle starts vibration, and the 2 different waves, one in the direction of the nature, which is known as the apara, it starts running there, and the other direction is the opposite direction, which is actually the direction of the God, right? So this is known as the para. So when the vibration starts, then para and apara, these both are started. Okay. And once they started, then the different things gets created, the distance gets created, right? But in fact, all these things are one and only one only. Okay, because since there are number of particles, so we have the concept of distance, we have the concept of time, everything. But if there is nothing, if every particle is there because of a single wave, then it's only a single wave. We have understood in the previous video that how the electrons were seen as a wave. When they were seen, then they were seen as a wave. When we try to find out, when the scientists try to find out like how they look like, then it was just a wave. But when they started looking into it, after when they started looking away from it, I mean, they were not looking it as a electron, I mean, just not trying to find out how it looks like, then it was just like wave. But when they stop watching it, when they stop observing it, then in that case it started working as a particle, right? So it started working as a particle, and it was also working as a wave. So it was just like a light wave. It was light only. So God is the main form that exists in this nature is light, right? So light is everything. So that was the thing that we understood in the previous video. Okay, now we are talking about Maya and Avidya. So what is Avidya and what is Maya? In terms of these particles, when we talk about these independent particles, when we talk about them as independently, like what an independent particle is known as, then that independent particle is known as Avidya. But when we combine these particles, all of these particles, when they are combined, and you assume that this is the entire creation, right? Whatever the entire creation is, that is all made up of these small particles. So this entire creation made of this particular set of particles or all the particles is known as Maya. So Maya is the collection of all the particles, and each individual particle is known as the avidya. Right? Why they are known as avidya and why this is known as Maya, that we are going to discuss ahead. So these particles, they are enlightened. I mean, the light is thrown by the godly energy, which means the God particle. That God particle is vibrating, right? The vibration has been started. So certain frequency is there, right? When the God particle starts, suppose here you can see, like suppose this is the God particle, it started vibrating. So initially it has certain frequency, and once it has certain frequency, this was the sound wave, right? This was a sound wave. Frequency was that of a sound wave, and that sound was Om. But when it moved ahead, after a certain time, it reaches up to a frequency level away from it. It reaches to a frequency level where the frequency matches with the frequency of the light. You know that light waves also have certain frequency. Every wave has a frequency. Light wave have different frequency range, right? So when it reaches to a point where it can be shown as a, you know, light, it can be shown as a light wave. It could be having a frequency which has the frequency of the light wave. Then in that case, all these particles, they become enlightened by that particular light which is thrown by the this God particle. So this God particle is enlightening these particles. God particle is enlightening these particles, not enlightening, basically making it glow, because enlightenment is something else. It makes it glowing. It has started glowing. All these particles have started glowing after this particular point of time, right? And this is known as Maharloka, that energy level, that frequency level from after which the particles becomes, particles started glowing from the light of God. That particular frequency range is known as the Maharloka. So from Maharloka onwards, these particles are enlightened. They are glowing now. So once they started glowing, then they are known as avidya, right? Why they are known as avidya? Because after they started glowing with the light of God, they start thinking themselves as having an independent existence. They they have the feeling, they have this seed in themselves that they are independent. They are not enlightened by something else. They are not the reason for the glow, the reason for their glow is not something else, but they are themselves the reason of the glow that they started thinking of. So those particles are now known as avidya, because they are not knowing, they are not aware that they are they are glowing due to some other reason, right? So from there onwards, the nature starts. All the activities in the nature, what we see through our senses, all those activities gets started. So from there, since it is not aware that I am because of someone else, I am not the light. There is a source of light because of which I have the light. So that's why these particles individually are known as the avidya, because they don't know the real nature. They don't know that they are the light because of some other reason, right? There is a God particle due to which it has become a light particle, right? So once all these independent particles get combined, then based on the lust and based on the the uh, kind of lust we have in this nature, different kind of lust, whatever we could have in this nature, because of those kind of lusts, all these particles gets combined together to form different shapes. They start getting condensed, like all the particles start condensed, and after they start condensing, they start creating various planets, various satellites. All those things are getting started now. They are getting created now, right? So that is why after all the things, all the particles gets concentrated, they create various things like planets, they create mountains, they create everything. They create the humans, the different jiva, or you can say the different kind of species like animals and the humans, everything they start creating. So based on the nature of the particle, different kind of bodies or different kind of shapes started creating. And since these shapes are started creating, and now these shapes are the only thing which can be perceived through our senses. So we are not, I mean, the humans or the jiva are not able to understand the true nature that we have, because of which we exist. We think that yes, these are the things which are visible, these are the only things which are the ultimate reason, ultimate things, and they could have come by chance from somewhere. So this nature is understood to be by chance by few of the people who don't understand these concepts, who don't understand the Vedas. Whosoever is not aware about the Vedas, they can never understand this concept. They can never understand that yes, there is another source because of which we exist, because of which there exist some particles which are which are glowing, and their glow is the the life. Their glow is known as the life, right? Because once they start glowing, then all the things in this universe starts. The creation of the planets, the creation of the different moons and suns, all those things, all the stars, all those things are started getting created once they get started condensing, right? So when collectively we see different things, either the galaxies, we see some body, we see few things. So collectively, when we come to collective portion of these particles, then it becomes really tough, more tougher than the earlier one. If you are aware about this thing that you are the light particle, even that is good, but you are able to see an entire body, the different universe, different galaxies, different things, different mountains, different uh, shapes and sizes on the earth. When you get involved in these things, you are able to get the pleasure in these things, and then you are not ever thinking of your true nature, which is your particle nature. You are not able to reach up to that particle nature, because you are now trapped into the trapped into this nature of these particles, the collective nature of these particles, and these particles collectively are keeping you away from your true nature, and that is why collectively they are known as the Maya, right? Collectively they are known as the Maya. So that was all about this particular video, and I just wanted to uh, cover these verses one by one. So it will take time, but these verses are really important for you to understand before we move ahead into the holy science, or even overall into the scriptures of the Indian philosophy. So I hope you must have understood it, and we all discussed about like what is how the Maya keeps you away from the truth, that we all have discussed. So in the next video, we will see that how it manages to keep you away, and why you are not able to understand your true nature, and how this nature has been created overall. Okay, so be with us, and in the next video we will see that how it works. So in this video we conclude with this remark that uh, once the once the once a person, or you say once a jiva, like myself or you yourself, once a jiva enhance himself till the level of particle. So we are at the level of body, we have to reach up to the level of the particle, that we are the condensed form of few of the particles, and those particles have different kind of attributes. So because of that we are existing, we exist, right? So that is how the person reaches to the particle level, right? Once it reaches to the particle level, then he knows that how it has been created, how he has been created. So he has been created from the Om, and Om has been created because of the vibration of the God particle, right? So that is how we start knowing that is how we start understanding that we are not independent. Our existence is because of someone else, right? Although we are independent, we think that we are independent in our actions, but the thing is that we are under the you know under a bound under a, we are bounded by this nature, by these particles, the nature of these particles. We are bound to do certain things. If these particles creates an animal, then in that case we are bound to act like an animal. We cannot act like a human if we are in an animal's body, right? So Once a person becomes knowledgeable, he knows about these four forms of Om. We have understood the four forms of Om in the previous video. Four forms of Om. One was Pranav, which is Om. Then there was Desha, which is the distance. Then there was Kala, which is the time, right? So, and then then the concept of particle, right? So Om, and then Desa means distance, then Kala, which means time, and then the particle. These are the four forms of Om, right? The sound, the Desha, Kala, and the particle form. So these are all the form of Om. So it's not only like once you read this, you are aware. Knowing and becoming aware are two different things. You know, because this has been written in this book, because I am telling you to this, or you must have read it from somewhere, or you must have listened it from someone else. So this is knowing, this you know, but being aware is something else. Being aware means you are truly able to feel it. That is known as being aware. Once you are aware, then you are able to understand, you are able to perceive it inside you, right? But until you don't know, you cannot say that, yes, this is the truth. Only the truth is that thing which you have perceived, which you have felt. Apart from your feeling, apart from whatever you have felt, anything else is just information for you, just some information for you. So once the information that you have, if you are able to feel that, then that is no that becomes jnana, right? So that is something else, that is awareness, right? So you have to become aware of yourself. So how it is possible, all those things have been discussed in this book. So be with us in the coming videos, and you will be able to understand the different concepts discussed to achieve the awareness. So with this, I would like to say have a nice day, and bye bye. We'll meet you soon in the next video.